Pam S83 wants to know about lunges. She said, explain proper form on lunges. I feel like a leaning tower of Jenga. They're great. They're compound movements, and we love those around here. So they target your hams, they target your glutes, they target your quads, all in one movement. The deeper you can get into your lunge, the more it's going to work your quads. So when you hear people talk about the importance of depth in your lunge, this is what they're talking about. You can do all sorts of different variations of lunges. There's the walking lunge. There's the, the deficit lunge. There's the curtsy lunge. There's it's like the squat. There's a million different variations of a lunge. So let's talk about the most basic version, the static walking forward, coming back lunge.
Yes. So you're going to stand with your feet hip width apart. Take a step forward and bend both of your knees, lowering until both of your knees are at a 90-degree angle. We use the cue 90-90 to remind you of this when you're learning how to do them.
So your front leg's going to look like, well, my finger can't do it because fingers don't do that apparently, but your front leg's going to be a 90-degree angle and your back leg's also going to be. So you're going to look like, I can't
you
fucking
literally
do it,
step forward and then just lower yourself down.
Yeah, you look kind of like this.
So you're going to shift your weight forward onto your lead leg. Your knee should be directly above the ankle on that lead leg. So you're the leg that's forward.
Yes,
basically.
Whatever the front leg is. If it's your right leg or your left leg, it will alternate.
Yes. And the weight should be sitting on the heel, not the front of your foot.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
So think about when you put your hand down on a table. Ideally, you want to have, for the best push off, you want to have your elbow over your wrist and you want to have your palm flat on the floor. It's the same with your foot for a lunge. You want your foot flat on the floor. You want that weight focused on your heel. Let me say that again. You want the weight focused on your heel, not your toes.
Yeah. It feels awkward. Like you'll know when it doesn't feel right. Like it just feels weird if it's unbalanced. So you're then going to push off on both legs and squeeze your glutes to stand up while stepping forward and or back, depending on if you're doing walking or stationary lunges.
And if we put this on the TikTok, someone's going to yell at us about putting your weight on your toes, and they're going to be like, well, what about this movement or this movement? We are talking about the most basic form of the lunge because people love to fucking argue semantics with us on the internet. You're going to lose that battle, just FYI. I'm great at it. Things to remember. Lunges are a lower body exercise, but it still requires you to remember and keep a few things in check on the top half of you while you're building those holiday hams. So first of all, you want to engage your core. Make sure you're standing upright. Your shoulders are back, but they're not too far back, but you're also not hunched. You want to have that core engaged. You want to have your lats activated, but not too terribly much, just to keep yourself standing straight up. Engage your core. Tuck your hips so that your lower back isn't arched and that your pelvis is lined up under your rib cage. So everything's going to stack. This is why we talk about that book, Becoming a Supple Leopard. They explain this really well. If you're first getting into weightlifting and you don't understand physiology or kinesiology, that book, you can find it for $20 on eBay. It's worth the fucking read. But this is what they teach you. So at the bottom of your lunge, your shin on the front leg is going to be pretty close to perpendicular to the floor. Your knee is not going to go over your toes in this variation of the lunge, and your foot is going to be flat on the floor. The weight on your back leg is going to rest on your toes. Now, when we talk about that, that's fine. You're not putting any of your there's no stress on the back leg right now. Your back leg is for support.
It's helping bounce,
Yeah, it's okay to have your toes on. Your toes can be involved on the back leg. That is the exception. The weight on your back leg is going to rest on your toes with your heel off the floor, and your shin on the back leg is going to be almost parallel to the floor. So when we talk about 90-90, that's what you're going for.
Yeah.